Yo, what is going on YouTube? Welcome to the channel, guys. I'm Devour. Today's video we are doing a top 5 best SnD class setups, but instead of it just being my own personal opinion, I asked 20 of my friends for their opinion. First we had to agree on the guns, and then we had to agree on the attachments. But in order for them to take part in this survey, they needed to have a 2.0 kill death, a 4.0 win loss, and at least 30 days of playing time. No, that doesn't mean they bought the game 30 days ago. I'm talking about 30 days logged in on the game of Modern Warfare. So you know all of these guys are certified slayers, killers, absolutely insane at the game. They are the top 1% in the game without a doubt, like without even having to look farther than those stats. Top 1%, possibly top 0%, because that's like a thing going on nowadays. If you are interested in seeing the rest of this nuke, it will be at the end of the video. And also, if you take a look at the timeline, I will have time values for each individual segment. There will be clips that I do for each gun, and then there will be the gun class setup that we go over the gun class setup, where I share with you guys the values of how much each attachment had out of 20. Some attachments had like 20 out of 20, like the FSS Carbine Pro barrel. 20 out of 20 people agreed upon that specific attachment. But it's kind of interesting to see where people started to differentiate, and sometimes like 9 out of 20 was enough to be the majority of the vote on that attachment for the gun, just because there's like 3 different selections. But I do think you guys will really enjoy today's video. Before we even get too deep into it, make sure you guys absolutely do kill that like button, and if you have not already, make sure you guys smash that subscribe button as well. Hit that little bell icon also, and join the wolf pack today, baby. Oh! All right, without further ado, first up we are going in with the mini Uzi, guys. I've been playing a little couple clips for you guys. As soon as this last clip finishes up, then we're gonna go ahead and hop in depth into the Uzi Class Setup, and I'm gonna share with you guys the values that we all decided to pick. And this Uzi class in particular, I'm so happy people have started to give the GI Mini Reflex a try. I've been seeing more and more YouTubers using the GI Mini Reflex on the Uzi as well. Like, the iron sights is not bad. It's okay, especially if you have like the default Uzi iron sights on there. It's not bad. But the Uzi has such good damage range. Like, literally at 40-50 meters, this Uzi can still melt people and have good recoil control. But unfortunately, like, if you have the iron sights on there, it doesn't complement that far of a range. So on the screen now, you guys are going to see the values of the class setup that was majority voted on by everyone. So right away we can see the 2 values that definitely stand out the most is 20 out of 20 people wanted the FSS Carbine Pro barrel on their mini Uzi, and 20 out of 20 people wanted the .41 AE 32 round mags on their Uzi as well. And everything else from there is like a little bit more personal preference. We had 12 out of 20 on the GI Mini Reflex, then we had 11 out of 20 on the stippled grip tape, and we had 11 out of 20 on the 5MW laser. So for the 5MW laser, the 9 other people wanted Merc foregrip. For the stippled grip tape, some people wanted no stock. And then for the sight, 8 people wanted to go with no sight, so then they were able to add on an extra attachment. Most of them added on a muzzle of some sort, like the monolithic suppressor. All right, hopping right into our next gun, guys, we do have the M4A1 up next, guys. And it shouldn't be a surprise, you know what I mean? The M4 is kind of like the king of kings in this game. Like, M4 and MP5, they're both probably number 1 at what they do in the game, you know what I mean? The M4 is the best sentinel type weapon where you can like just post up and absolutely mow down everybody, and the MP5 is probably the best gun in the game at rushing in and taking out those sentinel people. So they both have a different purpose, but they're both number 1 in what they need to be doing. As you can see, I'm just absolutely shredding these kids. I love the M4A1. I especially love my M4A1 suppressed. So in the actual gun class setup that was agreed upon by everyone, there was no suppressor majority. It was actually the compensator majority, and I understand why, because in Search and Destroy, the only time that I really pull out an M4, I'm pulling it out to try to counteract people that are rushing really hard. So I rush to like a head glitch, like before they rush in from rushing at me, and while I'm on that head glitch, I just mow them all down with an M4. So I'm not worried about being suppressed in Search and Destroy. I'm worried about hitting all of my shots and making sure that like I'm just as accurate as possible with the M4. So I understand why the majority of people voted for the compensator, but for the gameplay, I can get a lot more kills and make it look a lot more impressive with the monolithic suppressor. But the monolithic suppressor was in second place for the 20 out of 20 voting. We're going to go ahead and finish up this clip, and we're going to go ahead and hop right into the gun class setup. I actually managed to make it on like a 17 gun kill streak with this M4, but then literally someone just spawns right behind me. I don't understand. I hate it when that happens. That's like the worst way to die. So anyways, hopping right into the gun class setup, guys. 11 out of 20 people went with the compensator. The other 9 people did go with the monolithic suppressor. So I totally think either way is like perfectly good. But I understand like the reasoning behind the compensator, because if you are going to use an M4, you want to be able to laser people that are like really far away. The idea is to keep your distance and just laser people down at a range that they have no way of competing with you. The Corvus Custom Marksman, 15 out of 20. That one's pretty straightforward to the point. The 11 out of 20 Forge Tac CQS stock for aim down sight speed. The other 9 people went with a laser of some sort. Some people went with a tac laser. Some people went with a 5MW laser. The stippled grip tape, that one's pretty straightforward. You definitely want to have some sort of sprint to fire speed increase and ADS increase as well. And then 12 people went with the Commando foregrip. 8 people went with the GI Mini Reflex. So completely up to you on that. I control the recoil better with the GI Mini Reflex than I would with a Commando foregrip. But people that are really good with the iron sight, then obviously, you know, the Commando foregrip is probably going to help you out more, because it's going to reduce that ADS sway, and it's going to help with recoil stabilization as well. Now, hopping right into our next gun, guys, we do have the handy dandy ultimate satisfying killing gun, the MP7. I've had this gun on every single top 5 list of mine. Unfortunately, my class setup was not the preferred class setup, but I kind of feel insulted. These people are all my friends, but that's okay. That's okay. This class setup is really good as well, and I totally understand why people go with the Merc foregrip over the Ranger foregrip. Me, I'm more of a Ranger foregrip kind of guy. I like to get those long range shots, kind of like that, like 30-40 meter range shots, and people are just like, what in the world? Or it makes your aim just look tremendously good when you can mow people down at that distance. And for me personally, the Ranger foregrip helps out more for that, but the Merc foregrip was voted majority, so it is what it is. After these MP7 clips, we're going to go ahead and hop right into the gun class setup. You guys know how we do it. I do believe one really big distinguishing feature from the MP5 and the MP7 compared to the other submachine guns in the game, these two submachine guns indefinitely do not need a laser on them. Like, their mobility is just so good, their sprint to fire speed is just so good as well, and their overall recoil control is really good also. So it allows them to be in this separate, like, kind of god tier bracket. As you guys can see, we have the values on screen right now. The MP7 was probably our easiest gun to vote on, because a lot of people realize that the MP7 does need damage range increasers. So with that thought process in mind, you kind of do need these first 2 attachments, those being the monolithic suppressor and the FSS recon barrel. When you have these 2 attachments on the MP7, it gives you the maximum amount of damage range increase, and it also gives you the maximum amount of bullet velocity, meaning that your bullets hit faster and they will go farther and do more damage. So we all agreed on that. That was like the easiest part of our day. And then from there, like, obviously everybody has their own personal preferences, but 15 out of 20 people did go with the no stock. The other 5 went with the close quarter, just ADS stock. And then the ammo, I feel like I've been saying this all along, the ammo is like completely up to you. 9 out of 20 people did go with the 50, and that was the vast majority. I think 8 people ended up going with the 60 round, and then some people just went with the 40 round and then used sleight of hand, so up to them. And then 13 out of 20 people did go with the Merc foregrip, and unfortunately 7 out of the 20 people went with the Ranger foregrip. Sad face, sad face. But we're moving right along, baby. Next up, we do have the AS VAL, guys. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. The AS VAL actually has the fastest time to kill in the game, even in Warzone as well. In Warzone, it has like a 407 millisecond time to kill. It's 70 seconds faster than anything else in the game. So it's kind of insane. It's got to be up there. Time to kill is always going to be king when it comes to guns and stuff. This was actually my very first time playing livestock 4v4. I just wanted to get some footage on like a different map, you know what I mean? I didn't want it to all be like shoot house, and I didn't want it to all be rust or shipment and stuff. But livestock 4v4 is actually really fun, guys. In a team deathmatch game to 750, so like 75 kills, I think I managed to get like 44 of the kills. This game definitely got me reported. I had some hate mail on Twitter after this game. But you know what? It's not my fault, man. It's the AS-VAL. The AS-VAL is literally just melting these kids. They're getting shots off on me, but it doesn't matter. The AS-VAL just melts you too fast. So I do apologize to these guys. Normally I wouldn't use the AS-VAL, guys. Like I only use it if it's like being abused against me. Like, to be honest, just because the AS-VAL is so cheese. Like let's just be dead honest, guys. The AS-VAL is cheese. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm gonna finish up this last couple kills. Also, if you guys have never played the 4v4 livestock mode, it's actually really fun, especially if you can manage to get like hardpoint 4v4 livestock is a fucking good ass game mode. I'm not gonna lie, guys. So hopping right into our gun class setup, let's get it. So 20 out of 20 people did agree on the VLK OSA barrel. The reason why 20 out of 20 people agreed on the barrel is because with this barrel, that's when you have the fastest time to kill in the game. If you use the other barrels, then you do not, in fact, have the fastest time to kill in the game because you're taking away bullet velocity. So do make sure you're capitalizing on having the fastest time to kill gun in the game as much as possible by using the VLK 200mm OSA barrel. And then the next one that was super easy is the 30 round mag. You guys know the AS-VAL only has 20 bullets and it shoots extremely fast, so those bullets go by really fast. So having like even just 10 extra bullets makes a huge difference. And then from there we do have like a little bit of differences in opinions. So the majority of people did want to go with the 5MW laser. That's going to be a 9 out of 20 value. The other people started to go with, some people went with the optic, like 2-3 people went with the optic, and then the remaining people from there went with the stock that gives ADS speed and aim walking movement speed. I think it's the Stovey Skillet stock. And then the stippled grip tape, some people actually ended up going, 5 people actually ended up going with sleight of hand and no stippled grip tape. Like, that kind of like blew my mind, but the vast majority of people did go with the stippled. And then the Ranger foregrip did win the majority as well with 11 out of 20. Some people did go with the Merc foregrip. Some people did choose to go with the Commando foregrip as well. But I definitely prefer the Ranger foregrip because it gives you the maximum amount of recoil control and makes your aiming stability absolutely zero. So you have zero weapon sway, helping you be as accurate as possible. Moving right into the King of Kings, guys. Next up, we do have the MP5 Class Setup. I'm going to show you 2 clips, then we're going to go ahead and hop into the MP5 Class Setup and why this class setup is the absolute King of Kings. And then after that, I will have the Nuke video if you guys are still interested in watching that Nuke video. I did get the Nuke with this exact same MP5 Class Setup to really show how amazing this MP5 Class Setup actually is in any single game mode as well. Like the title says Search and Destroy Top 5, but this is the top class in the entire game in my opinion, and we did have a majority vote on this class as well. I think towards the start of Cold War, a lot of people were still rocking with the Merc foregrip, but it seems like there's been a slight shift, and I'm noticing it more inside my Search and Destroy lobbies as well. More and more people are starting to go with the Ranger foregrip because more and more people are starting to go with the F-Tac collapsible stock because it gives you that added movement speed. It helps you be that much more aggressive when you're trying to camera your enemies. You're sliding, dipping, diving around the corner. You want to be as fast as possible so you pretty much see them before they see you. So without further ado, here's our MP5 class setup. You guys can see the values on screen. All right, so starting everything off, we do have 13 out of 20 people going with the monolithic integral suppressor. 6 people went with the actual monolithic suppressor, and then 1 person went with the compensator. This just goes to show, like, when you're like a top player, being off the radar as much as possible does help. You know what I mean? Obviously you can get the job done while being on radar, especially if you're like have really good map sense, but you can take advantage of players that really rely on their radar a lot by just having a suppressor on your gun. And then 13 out of 20 people did go with the F-Tac collapsible stock. The other 7 people chose to have no attachment in their stock category. They just had a stippled grip tape on their gun. 11 out of 20 people going with the sleight of hand. Some people, like, they had sleight of hand, or they had a laser on the gun, or they had stippled grip tape and then they had the ADS stock on their gun. But I'm happy sleight of hand actually won the day on this one because majority of pros, well, actually every single pro that was using an MP5 always used sleight of hand on their MP5, and I think people are starting to realize that now as well. And at the actually very start of the game, the MP5 in season 1 was nerfed. They nerfed the reload speed. They made it a lot slower. So that's when people started using sleight of hand on their gun. And then ever since then, I've always just been used to having sleight of hand on my MP5. And then for the ammo, I think I've been saying this like since day one as well. I think both ammos are really amazing, so you can totally go with either or. We actually had a 10-10 split on this one. 10 people decided to go with the 10mm 30 round mag, and 10 people decided to go with the 45 round mag. And then finally, we do have the Ranger foregrip pulling out in front of the Merc foregrip by the separation of 2 votes, and I could not be happier. I couldn't be happier with that vote split. Like, I'm happy that the Ranger foregrip on the MP5 is finally starting to get the love it deserves. You guys have been taking advantage of it for the Merc foregrip for 6 seasons now, and I'm sick of it. The Ranger foregrip, like, honestly, the MP5 has really good hip fire already. You guys see me hip fire people all the time with my MP5, and I don't have a Merc foregrip on it. So when you're actually at hip fire distance, the MP5 has a naturally really good hip fire. The only thing that's different on my MP5 compared to your MP5 is my MP5 can manage to hit these shots that are like 30-40 meters away very consistently with no sight while using this Ranger foregrip. And a lot of people struggle at those distances, and that's when they lose their gunfights, and that's when they get knocked off of nuke streaks. So the Ranger foregrip came out on top today. Super happy about that. Without further ado, let's get into some nuke carnage, baby. Let's go. Alrighty, so hopping right into our nuke video, guys. So up first, you actually see me fail. I'd like to let you guys know as well, as I'm on one of my subscribers' accounts. His name is Tonic. I already got him that nuke calling card. If I can get a nuke calling card for one of you guys, please do let me know. All you gotta do is just follow me over on Twitter, shoot me a direct message, and then we'll work out our best time and place when we can get this done. So I was on a 26, and then I just get absolutely laser beamed by this super ugly SPR class. And you guys can see just how in shock I am. I'm at 26. The score is at 169 right now. I had so much time. I had no reason to push into this big open room, and I was just so pissed. My controller is literally like on the ground right now. I'm in full Summit 1G mode, but it's okay. Like 2 or 3 games later, I ended up getting this Sudal Harbor game, and I ended up dropping the full nuke. I do hope you guys enjoy. I'm gonna be quiet. Let's get it.
We're taking C. You're needed at A. Enemy sentry gun active. We control B. We're needed at Bravo.
Reloading.
I'm with you. I'm with you. We've lost B.
Changing max. Got to reload.
We're taking A.
I see movement.
Enemy at the cargo containers. We're taking B.
Changing max. Reloading.
We control B. Losing B. You're needed at B. Enemy. We're holding. We have. Reloading. With you.
Distance now. Passcode sent.
This
This is Watchtower. Passcode accepted. Beginning launch sequence. Enemy at the construction site.
Okay. alright.
Taking Bravo.
Okay. Okay, bro. Body on you, Jenna?
Taking Bravo. Oh, control two objectives. Take them back.
GG's.